All right, ladies, gentlemen, gamers, welcome back. It's your boy Chris Allen back at it again with the white vans. I'm still unemployed, still looking for a job, but not really because I don't want to. And we're back again today. So this isn't a Chris Allen recap, surprisingly enough. It's actually more of like a critique, sort of. It's more like a critique of Riot. Let me mute myself on Discord here. So, what are we going to be going over today? I kind of saw this floating around on the internet about Riot Games, and it's ironic because it was about 2 weeks ago almost at this point. But it's something I've been saying in my League-related videos for a while, at least stuff related to it. And it's just general what Riot does and what I've seen. So, there's there's one big thing that popped into my mind, but basically the whole premise of this beginning part here is Riot saying things and then they don't do them. Now, I want to get one thing straight. I like Riot Games. I don't like certain things they do. Obviously, you're not going to like something 100%. With Riot, I can definitely critique a lot of the decisions they do. Even if they're good decisions, I still don't like some of them because I think they're not good for me, or it's very obvious what they're doing with the skins and the pandering to a certain audience. But I mean, make money, make money. But regardless, there's a thing that Riot has done over the years in League, and obviously, with the quality that I produce, I'm not going to show hard, concrete examples, but I did get some stuff here to kind of prove my point, but not the stuff I'm going to mention right now. In the past, there has been some examples of Riot saying they're going to do things that make sense, things that people want for the game, and I'm strictly speaking right now to League of Legends, that are good and make sense, right? The first thing that comes to mind that Riot said they would add and then basically just forgot about it and went radio silent and then it never got in the game is fill but not a certain role, which aka meant fill but not support. Now, to Riot's defense, that would have been something very hard to do, but they were saying in the past, and again, I'm not, I'm too lazy to really get the Carfax here, but Riot said they're working and they're getting ready on adding in a system called fill but excluding a certain role, so fill but not support. That never came out. We've had no clue about it. We haven't heard it. And honestly, with some of the things I'm going to mention, I don't even know if they're real anymore. I don't know if they actually existed at one point or if my mind made them up. Because the way Riot treats them, they treat them like the fucking ugly duckling of like the group, like the ugly child that needs to be hidden away in the basement. Where it's like they don't mention it, it never happened, and everyone seems to forget about it. So with a lot of these, I even question if like they were real. But the fill but not support thing, that was 100% real. I will die on that hill. It was real. If I tried hard enough, I could probably find the proof, but I'm too lazy to do that, even though I'm unemployed. I mean, that's probably why I'm unemployed. But anyway, so fill but not support was one of the things Riot said that they were going to add. Never did. One of the next things they said they might have added, this one, I don't know if it actually existed, was going past level 7. I remember, I think, Riot entertaining the idea of saying, yeah, we want to change how you get level 6 and 7 because people are ass at their game and they don't know how to really, use the champions correctly. So they're like, yeah, we want to change how you get level 6 and 7 on champions. And I think they were entertaining the idea of adding a level 8 and 9 mastery. And again, with the way things at Riot are, they forgot about it, swept it under the rug, and don't talk about it, and everyone seems to forget it or doesn't care. And to be honest, I don't really care either. Champion Mastery is fucking stupid, even though I have every AD level 7. But regardless, that's another thing. Now, the next thing that is the main offender and the main thing that prompted me to make this video is the fact that Riot said when they were releasing these events, for those of you who don't know, which if you're watching this and you don't know League, why the fuck are you watching this? But regardless, for those of you who don't know, League of Legends comes out with a pass event sort of thing. Now this dates back all the way to when League first added missions into the game. League did not have missions into the game. League did not have a lot of things in the game like challenges, missions, borders, a little ranked armor, ranked rewards like splits. There wasn't all these shits, and there wasn't missions. When they added missions, Riot said, because the missions were for the passes, Riot said, and the events, they said that we don't want the missions to be something stupid and easy to do. They want it to be something, unique and cool, and not just, as, this champion, or not even this champion, just get, like, 10 kills a game, or get this amount of ward score a game. They said they specifically don't want this as a challenge. They want challenges that are not just stupid throwaway challenges that you don't think about. Although those can be included, they don't want them to be the mainstay. And now look what we're at. With a lot of the challenges, if you buy the league passes, you'll know it's either play games and get them done, or get takedowns, get kills, get gold. Very unspecific challenges that is the exact opposite of what they said they want the challenges and missions to be. So that's, again, not only Riot not even remembering what they said, but going actively against what they said. And it was a slow burn over time. When the missions first came out, they were holding to their word of, yeah, we don't want the missions to be simple. The missions were like, oh, as Leona do this, or as Sejuani do that. I'm thinking back to, like, the previous project missions around when the missions came out. Like, these missions had you play certain people, which those are still here, but they're way more, like, loose. Like, back then, you needed to either, like, play the champion. Now, you have to, like, just have them in the game. They could be on the enemy team, on your team. You could play them, you could not play them. It doesn't matter. And this is kind of where Riot kind of hold themselves into a corner. The problem with this is Riot wanted to do something unique, something different from the mold, but then they realized money's involved. And because people are buying and paying for these passes, which give you these missions, if you can't complete the missions in an easy way, because back then, you had to do the mission this way, or I think play, like, a certain amount of ludicrous games, like maybe 5 or 10 games, which for the average person, they might not have too much time to do that, so they might not get through the full pass if they don't play the champions that are required through the missions, which means they essentially wasted money because they can't complete it, which feels bad and leads to them not buying it again. So I understand why eventually Riot switched to the system they said they weren't going to. It makes complete sense. It's from a money perspective. You want people to be able to complete the missions they bought, because if they don't, it feels like fucking shit. And I agree. My whole problem is, it's what Riot says. And I always do this, and, I get chastised for doing this, but I'm still going to do it, just not as much anymore. I hold people to what they say. If Riot came out and said, okay, we're wrong, which they say a lot of times, Riot, again, I don't want to make this saying I hate Riot. I love Riot Games. It's just I'm going to critique what they do because I want them to be better. And I've noticed they do a lot of things where they just say things and then forget about them, and I don't even know if they exist anymore. But regardless, Riot needs to come out and acknowledge that these things are bad, but they also need to go further than that. They need to actually change shit. So, now that that first part's out of the way, let's actually go to some reacting. So there's been some stuff floating around on the internet right now. Let's switch over to the Googs. We're going to start reacting, and I'm going to show some stuff off. So, over time, the passes have gotten better. I only play League for the passes. 1, because I'm burnt out on League, and 2, because League is cancer. But in general, I only really play League for the passes. That's what I play for. But the passes over time have gotten better. That is a fact. They flubbed up a little bit, making the grind a little worse at times, but overall, they've gotten better in terms of progressing through the passes. But the passes have become less fun. And this is something Riot does, Fortnite does it too, and sometimes this is the hardest thing to do, and it's to innovate over time. As you go longer and longer over time, you have to innovate. You can't keep things the same because then people are going to get bored. It's just the way games are. So the issue with this is over time, League has improved the way the pass has been progressed through, but they haven't innovated the pass itself. So look at here. If you remember very old school, the pass used to be win a game, lose a game, you get a certain amount of points. Tokens. If you win a game, you get more. If you lose a game, you get less. Now, the problem is, if you had a game that lasted for 50 minutes to an hour, and you lost it and you get 5 tokens, a lot of your time was being wasted rather than FFing at 15. So it almost incentivized you to lose early, which was kind of insane. But some people like me only play for the pass and only play for the tokens. So I wouldn't expect, or it wouldn't go past my head, that someone was out there doing stuff like this based on how many tokens you could gain. Because there's always going to be someone min-maxing. But regardless, they switched it. They switched it from a win-loss system to a time system. So now if you have games that last long, you actually benefiting more from it. Now the biggest drawback to this was the mission you get of getting 200 points a game from time played didn't stack. So if you were at 190 points and you go in a game, you suffer the same problem. You only need 10 more points, which equates to about, a couple minutes of playtime. And then if the game lasts 50 minutes, you're essentially wasting the playtime because you only needed 10 points. Fast forward to now, they fixed it because now the mission stacks. So you can go to the next mission, and if I'm not making sense, you kind of really have to play the League Pass to understand. But TLDR, they just made it better to where now your time is extremely, extremely not devalued, which is good. The problem is, the pass itself fucking sucks dick. That's the main issue. The main issue is the pass is boring, and so yeah, we progress through it better, our time is being valued more, but the pass is essentially the same, the rewards are boring, and it's just the way it is. I remember back in the day, Riot was cool. Riot was like the fun new person on the block. Now again, they weren't perfect. They were a lot more adventurous though. We used to get new game modes like the Dark Star Thresh game mode, Nexus Blitz, the tower sieging one where we can like buy little towers and stuff, and it was like half the map and you can upgrade towers, and it was so unique and cool. And then we got new maps. We got the Blood Moon game mode. We had all these different things. Doombots, Earth, the one that's beaten to fucking death with a piñata stick and its corpse is still hanging above us for some reason. Like, there were all these other things Riot tried and that were fun, but they just stopped doing because it didn't really make the money and it wasn't successful at first. But I appreciated the effort, and I feel like all of those culminating, yeah, maybe some of the events were boring, yeah, after a certain amount of time they didn't get played anymore, yeah, but it's the fact that they made new stuff and they were innovating. That's what I really appreciated from Riot back in the day. Now they're still good, everyone loves the core of League of Legends, but it was all those like side stuff that was really good. Now, with the passes, that's mainly what we get. We get the passes, and then if we're lucky, the once a year big event that's like a multi-patch event that is really canon to the story and changes stuff. But even then, I don't know if we're getting one for the Void this year, but even those are becoming kind of stale. We had Spirit Blossom, which was the first iteration, which was good, but got kind of boring as time went on, and, it's their first iteration, that's fine. But after that, we have Ruination, which, from a lot of people is a giant flop, which I wouldn't say it was a total flop, but it was pretty good. It wasn't terrible. Now we're getting the Void one, but I don't know when we're getting that one, because Riot's probably scared to do anything, because they don't want it to fuck up. But anyway, they need to innovate with the passes, because the passes are getting old, and they're noticing stuff that hopefully they say here. But anyway, as you notice here, this is when they changed over to points for how much time you played. And then they eventually changed it so the mission stacks. But anyway, let's look here. This is, for all intensive purposes, might be Riot's answer to my question. I personally don't think it is, but we'll see. Now, until it comes out, we won't know because this is work in progress, it's early. But Riot is finally transitioning from a pass system kind of to a hybrid battle pass system. So I call it the League Pass because that's what it's called. But right now, the current system is more of like a time spent, you earn stuff and do missions thing. Now it's going to be, I guess, instead of missions, just a straight out battle pass. And maybe the missions give XP, but they're basically slapping a battle pass on top of, I'm assuming, missions already, because we already have missions. So this might be better, but I still think it's kind of whatever, unless the rewards get really crazy. I think the whole problem is the rewards you get, I mean, they're okay, they're kind of whatever, but it's the rewards that are available for the tokens. The token rewards, everyone just spends it on the fucking orbs anyway. No one gives a shit. If the prestige skin is for a champion you play, whoop-de-fucking-do. Most of the time it's not, because they're for fucking random-ass champions that don't even matter. And the prestige skin sometimes isn't even that good. And then the other problem is sometimes people can't even get enough to earn it, because, you can't play enough. Even now, with the most recent pass that came out, the MSI High Noon Pass, I struggled, kind of, to get 2,500 tokens. Which sounds like a lot, but, they give you 1,000-something tokens for just playing and completing every mission. So I had to earn the rest, which a normal person definitely probably would not be able to do. But regardless, this is the next step of Riot, quote-unquote, trying to innovate. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. My personal guess is it's not. It's going to be better, Riot is getting better, but it's not enough, and they're not really innovating. They're just making it the current system sort of better. I want innovation. I want things to change. So this brings us to probably the best part of the video, the reaction part. I'm going to be reacting to 2 Reddit posts that came out that were kind of buzzing around League and making news. So let's see. Let's see what they're saying, and then let's react to it. So, this might be a little long. Intro. Hello everyone. I've been playing this game for a long time. Me too. And I can happily say that I still enjoy it a lot more than any other game. I don't know if I'd say that. There's something that I don't like, and I think it's getting worse every year. Events. Yeah, events, quote unquote. I remember when Riot said, like, yeah, we don't want to do events because, like, it's not, like, good. They're not good. They're not getting enough retention, and, like, there's no monetary point. I feel like at a certain point, if you're a big company, you can take the L on certain things if they're not monetarily good, if people still enjoy them. Obviously, you try and please the most people, but even for niche audiences, if you're big enough to where you can afford to take hits in monetary stuff, it really produces loyalty for your game. Like, it really does, and I think it's something they should do. But regardless. It's what Microsoft does, too, with the Game Pass, by the way. Microsoft, I don't think, still has not gained their money back from the Game Pass. The Game Pass loses them money, but it gives them long-term success in terms of people's loyalty and gaining more people. So long-term, it might eventually work out for them, but Microsoft is losing money on the Game Pass from what I know. Again, I'm too lazy to get actual numbers, but let's keep watching. Or let's keep reacting. I want to prove my point by analyzing the evolution of events throughout the years. Just a heads up, League of Legends was released 12 years ago. Jesus Christ. How old was I? I was 12. I was actually 12 when it was released. So this is going to be a long TLDR at the end. And before anyone says anything, my shifts at work are way too long and I have a lot of free time. Easy. Please excuse my mistakes as English is my second language. That's so weird to me because a lot of people who make posts like this and a lot of people who are like very smart, English is not their first language. It just goes to show you only idiots come out of America for the most part. A lot of smart people do not come from America. And I'm an American, so I can say that. I'm not saying I'm racist towards America, though, because I feel like people are going to misconstrue it that way. But America's filled with idiots, as is the whole world. But anyway, to make things simpler, I decided to divide my analysis into 5 parts or eras, according to the characteristic of the game and events at the time. Let's jump right in. So this, I'm assuming, is when Riot was considered a small indie company from 2009 to 2011. I would say that's pretty accurate. They were pretty just starting off. The game was in the beginnings, and rightfully so, were simpler. The events from this era were characterized by event-themed Summoner's Rift in the span of 2 years. Now think about this. Think about what we had in 2 years. We had the Winter Rift, Winter Games Rift, Christmas Rift, and Autumn Halloween Rift. What have we had in the past 2 years here? I think we've had a map, a Christmas map, I think. But I don't remember, and I think that's about it, aside from the big yearly events like Spirit Blossom and Ruination. We've had nothing else. That's, like, big. Every event also came out with special runes, which if you're an old school head, you'll know what those really are. Minion skins and new additions for consumables and items. And skins, of course. While this might sound simple, I simply loved it. I live near the equator, so there aren't seasons around here, but logging into League and feeling the vibes of these events felt nice. Okay, cool. The last time we got an Autumn Halloween Rift was 2011. I don't believe that's true, but I think he needs to specify here. We did get the Blood Moon stuff, and that was not 11 years ago. But that wasn't on Summoner's Rift. That was a different game mode. Granted, it was still using the Rift map. They just, recolored it a little bit. But I don't think that's necessarily too honest what he's saying here. Because we did get, like, different updates to the map a little bit. Last time we got the Winter Christmas Rift was 2017. That is not true. I think we got it before, like, recently, too. We haven't gotten any new versions of item consumables since 2012. Yeah, I can agree with that one. All things previously mentioned were removed for the period, so what was new? Well, Riot introduced missions. Ah, yes, the downfall. Missions, as we know them today, weren't introduced until 2017, but there were events that if you did X thing, Riot would send a reward to your account after a few days. So basically, they weren't in the client, you kind of just had to know to do them, which was cool. So, first ever game mode and additional maps. Cool. First ever event with missions, event-themed wards, which were free. First ever lore and champion release events. Cool. So, the most common missions were buy fucking RP, send a gift to a friend, playing with friends on certain maps, and purchase event content. Pretty simple stuff. The reward was an icon 100% of the time because they were fucking cheap bastards. Additionally, ward skins were created and you can equip them and were free to use throughout the duration of the event. This was later changed and you had to rent them because Riot became even more money grubbing. I would say the highlights of this era were the lore and champion releases events were introduced. Freljord event, which was pretty alright for its time. They weren't Rift-centric, but they featured other maps and playstyles. Twisted Treeline became the harrowing map, which was really fun. I have great fucking memories of like Twisted Treeline becoming harrowing. There was Hexakill on there. It was just fun, man. They tried so many different things. Howling Abyss became Snowdown, which was super cool. And then they made Snowdown Showdown, which was pretty fun. I'm not sure all of you agree, but I will die on these hills. I hate the fact that most events revolve around Summoner's Rift. Yeah. And they profit off of skins and champ releases comes first when designing events instead of focusing on expanding the lore and building an immersive experience. So essentially, the kind of vibe I'm getting from this is this guy is upset that essentially what was happening to Riot is they were becoming greedy and businessmen. He doesn't like how it's becoming money first, players after. I think there should be a mix, but I think players should always be held first. And it's sad because usually with an indie company, they are held first. Obviously, the money is always there. They're always going to care about money. But it's a percentage. It's a percentage of how much do you care about the fans versus how much do you want to make money. And you make up something to make money. It should be, okay, we're making something because we want to. And then how do we like make some money off of it versus, okay, we need to make money. Let's make something to make money. That's just my personal opinion. But anyway. Let's see. Okay. With a strong cohesive narrative. Akshan had more to do during the Ruination event than Maokai, Yorick, etc. just because they wanted to promote the new champion and they shoehorned him in, which they did. And a lot of other champions just to sell skins. Like, bro, I don't even still know Maokai's story. What is he doing now? What's happening? No one knows. Let's move on because everything related to the Ruination event has already been said. Yeah, it sucked. The last time ward skins were available for use for free during an event was in 2014. Yeah, but it's words, so no one fucking cares. Snowdown Showdown hasn't returned to live service since 2013. Jesus Christ. Game modes. This is my main thing that I love. I love this shit. I love the game modes. While the formula stayed mostly the same, everything was improved and Riot decided to give players everything they wanted. During this period, the following game modes were released. Poro King. Pretty good game mode. Ascension. One of my favorite game modes. I loved Ascension. Ascension was so fucking fun. Earth, the dead-beaten corpse of League of Legends. Hexakill, which was then on Twisted Treeline, which was pretty fun. Black Market Brawlers, one of the most unique ones, right? Probably, actually I wouldn't say that. Pretty unique for its time. Include new items and even some of them were added to the main game, aka Deadman's. They had specific items. For those of you who don't know, this was during the GP event. This was a pretty cool game mode. It included a lot of wacky items that were like totally unbalanced, but it was okay because it was an event. It was an actual Rift. And then new map, Butcher's Bridge, which was a pretty cool recolor. So, announcer packs are introduced, not ones you could buy, even though that's another thing, by the way, Riot said they would eventually do. Riot eventually also said, back in the day, like maybe a year or two back, that they were looking into making announcer packs and map skins. Like, you know, different announcers for the game and then different skins for how the Rift looks, because people know they mod the Rift anyway. So, those were another thing that Riot talked about and then just forgot about. Lovely. Icon finishers are introduced. Cool. Community events plus better rewards. These were super fun. These actually, I mean, they weren't that good, but there were community events like, oh, if you all play enough, you can get points to have everyone get this free Mundo skin, which was a decent skin. It was Pool Party Mundo. It wasn't bad. It was good. Event themed minions, which are really cool. And then loading screen borders are introduced, which now are being to death. Loading screen borders back then used to be cool. Now I kind of don't care about them anymore. Event missions were diversified and rewards were improved. New missions included earn gold, get kills, win under X minutes, play an X map and do X specific things. Look, X map, X specific things. Not just earn gold, not just get kills. Those were there. Like I said before, those were there, but those weren't like the majority of the missions. Now they are. Rewards stopped being only icons and now included Blue Essence, which was good, XP Boosts, which no one cares about but are good, Mystery Champions, which are great, and in some case skins. Additionally, reactive icons and announcers like Gangplank were finally introduced. Minion skins, the Pool Party and Project ones were really cool and I feel like really easy to do for Riot. I don't know why they never did that again. Well, they did, but in very small ways. Loading screen borders were introduced for purchasing skins during its release week, which was really nice. Icons were 250 RP and didn't include the border. I want to take a moment to talk about the Pool Party event, the Team Up Week. This was with the Mundo one. I've never seen something similar since then, and I don't understand why the kind of events aren't more common. The Versus event comes close. The Versus events were good fucking too. Those were good. They provided, I think the last time Riot did this, where they provided the audience, aka the players, us, kind of a hand in deciding what happens, was with the Lux thing. Was with the Lux event where we basically got to decide like which Lux, the dark or light one for the legendary cosmic one, was like the real one that won. But aside from that, like I don't think we've had another one since. They always used to do that with the Versus events though, which was so fucking good. But anyway, these kind of events are more common. Okay. It was an event in which the whole community participated together to earn points and unlock rewards. The only downside is that the points were difficult to get. Gifting friends, strangers, or playing as a group of 5, which was really hard to do back in the day, at least for me. And that's why we weren't able to get Pool Party Mundo. Pool Party Mundo would have been so fucking good. I wish League does more stuff like this, because it encourages people to play, and like, it's not under the pretense of like, okay, into game, do this, do that. Which those are good too for specific missions, but these are like overall arcing missions. This was so good. Just play as a party. Just play the game. And the more you play, the more points. And everyone gets a piece of the pie. It's so good. And it was actually something that people wanted. It was Pool Party Mundo. And we didn't unlock it. It was so crazy. I thought we would and we didn't. But anyway, more trivia that's going to make us sad. The Butcher's Bridge hasn't returned since 2019. That's not bad. We haven't got a new announcer pack since 2018. That's probably true. We haven't gotten Finisher's reactive icon since 2019. Yeah, but we could still use the old ones. Out of all the game modes released during this era, Earth is the only one that returns frequently. Yeah, because it's the only one that they fucking struck gold on. The not-so-golden era. The mission system that we have today was introduced, but the challenges stayed mostly the same. Rewards were improved a little bit with the introduction of Hextech Crafting, which I think was one of the best additions to League of Legends for players. Hextech Chests, Emotes, Champ Shards, Wards, and in some cases skins. New announcer packs were released. Pyke, Star Guardian Ahri, Darkstar Thresh, Freak and Kobe, Odyssey Kane, all good ones. Map accents and missions return for Snowdown, Arcade, and Lunar Revel. Rotating game mode queue was introduced. Every weekend, a game mode would be made available to play for everyone. This wasn't necessarily connected to any event, however, here's the list of game modes that were released. So, this to me is probably my like favorite era of League. This guy calls it the not-so-golden one. I call it the most explorative of Riot Games. This was when I think Riot Games explored the most, and I think, honestly, this was my favorite. The second favorite is the one before this, but this is my favorite. Star Guardian Invasion. Great game mode, great, like, PvE. Riot did PvE good, in my opinion. Hunt of the Blood Moon. Really fun PvP team deathmatch sort of style. Really good. Darkstar Singularity. So fucking unique, where you just queue people as Thresh into a black hole. Fucking insane. Doombots of Doom. Pretty funny, but this one probably, in my opinion, is like the worst one. It's more just like you play it a couple times and you never play it again. Project Overcharge. Really unique. A lot of cool assets added in. They basically they made a whole map for this. They put so much effort into this. It was insane. And I liked it. It was cool. But again, the replayability kind of got old. And then Odyssey Extraction, which I think was better Star Guardian Invasion. It's like Odyssey Extraction, Star Guardian Invasion, two of the best things. They didn't include the other ones though, which I'm curious about. Which maybe we'll get them eventually. But anyway, let's keep going. This is where things get complicated. As I mentioned before, missions and the rewards stayed mostly the same. However, a new currency was introduced. Ah, yes, the Forbidden Token. Every event had their own currency, and some of them had special chests which would give you a different and more special currency for the same event. You could use the tokens or the special currency to unlock additional exclusive content. This sounds familiar, right? Oh, yes, it does. Well, we didn't have passes as we know them today, and the only way you could get additional tokens was by buying orbs, chests, or bundles, or by buying the pass. Not all of the events had it, and only unlocked an exclusive mission track to earn a limited amount of tokens. It wasn't possible to earn tokens indefinitely. The loading screen borders were also included as exclusive content or in bundles, and they weren't awarded for purchasing the skin during the release week anymore. They took that away. Now you have to pay more money. It's worth mentioning that events had free missions with tokens as a reward, but you can only use them to unlock one icon/chroma, so basically eat shit. If you wanted anything else, you had to buy the bundles or the pass. Yeah, this was kind of shitty. I'll admit that. This is where things started to go downhill. I would agree. They give us some of the best game modes ever. 100% agree. But at the same time, they introduced the predatory and fear of missing out fueled event system. Very true. That we have nowadays. I'll go into more detail. Trivia. Not a single one of these game modes have returned. So fucking sad. So sad. I don't even think he mentioned them all. But maybe we'll get to it. And then Control-C, Control-V, 2018 to now. He missed some of the game modes. He missed like Nexus Blitz, or like the one with half the map and you would put little towers down and everything. I like that one. I thought that one was so cool. And you'd like switch rounds and stuff. It was so cool. Anyway, do I need to explain anything? This is the first and latest pass get you when you buying it. Okay, so that was a little English there. / get you when buying. Yeah, okay, whatever. So yeah, from this on, it basically remained the same. So this is what you could / can get in the event shops. Yeah, and it mostly stayed the same. However, not everything is as bad as it seems, and you gotta give credit where it's due. I believe the first event only gave tokens as a reward of missions, and it was hard to get tokens. The mission track of today's event is more diverse, and you always get more shit. They got better over time. Like I said, they got better over time. Half of these I don't care for, but it's something. Which, you know, if you're putting in trash, yeah, you're getting more, but it's still half trash. For better or for worse, the missions requirements and token gains have been tweaked a lot. I'm glad you're not required to kill Baron as Yumi to complete a mission anymore. Those were funny-ass missions. But the points / time required to complete them still feel like a punishment. Token gains were nerfed, and I don't care how many times it is stated that the system is better or hasn't changed at all. I would say it's better. It's more difficult to get tokens nowadays, and that's why I decided to not buy passes anymore. That's fair. Not everyone has the time to grind them. Back in the day, I think you got more for playing less. Now you can get more if you play a lot more. So, how would I describe the events nowadays? Boring, that is true. Here's the pass that will always get you the same prestige skin that you might want to grind for, but most of the time you won't. Icons and borders that no one cares about, chromas, and sometimes emotes awards that kind of are ass. And just a heads up, you won't be able to get everything because you're not supposed to, because you don't have enough time. And even if you did, you would still have to spend even more money to buy more tokens. If you really want it, you can always buy more RP. What about map minion changes? Nope. You only get those when Riot's not busy looking for more ways to monetize the game. Spoiler, never. And game modes. Here's AR Earth and One for All and the 50th time in the past year. Did you know they used to have a team focused on creating game modes? Yeah, where'd that go? They probably fired them because they weren't making money or enough money. I put that in the past tense because based on what they've put out recently, it looks like there isn't one anymore. That would be sad. You know what's even sadder? Riot agrees. Here are some of the event shows for the last couple of events. 90% of the content they used to promote in the event is something you have to pay for. It's funny how they try to sell icons, chromas, borders as something in-game changing. Very sad. Shit. TLDR conclusion. Events in League, according to Riot Games, buy the skins, buy the capsules, buy the event passes. Yes. Buy the chromas. In other words, if you do not pay for those things, you are not participating in the event. Very true. The free ones still kind of suck, but that's the nature of it. It's free. You know what's even worse? If you buy the pass, you will probably still miss like 70% of the content because you can't afford it, and it's meant that way, which is sad. But to be fair, the pass does give you enough content at a base level when you buy it, where it already like pays for itself, in my opinion. League of Legends has one of the worst pass systems I've ever seen. I wouldn't say that. If you buy the pass in Fortnite, you can basically buy the next one for free and unlock like 5 skins with all the other additional content. That's true. Fortnite has the best one in my opinion. But sure, let's make it fair and compare League's pass with something like Riot's other games, TFT and Wild Rift. Are they grindy? Yeah, but you're able to unlock all the content you get, arenas, Little Legend skins, and there's no token event shop BS. Very true. I'm just going to use the GIF to explain how I feel about One for All ARF being the only event game modes. I know they've explained it, which let's click on this and see. Yeah, okay, so this is them saying like, yeah, you know, we don't want to put time and effort into things that people are just going to leave eventually. But that's the nature of the thing. That's what makes it good. It's like Kindred says, Beauty is beautiful because it fades. Not the exact quote, but similar. Imagine how tired we are. Yup, that's funny. What I think events should be. Oh my god, how long is this thing? 95% of the time, events are made to sell AU skins. I don't know what AU means. The other 5% is to also sell skins, but related to the lore. Okay. As a player, things like Invasion or Extraction took me to a world and made me love it. Same with me. Invasion and Extraction, some of the best things Riot's ever done. I was immersed in those universes. Let's be real. The first batch of Odyssey skins wasn't that great, except for Kane and maybe Ziggs. I actually disagree. The Ziggs skin is trash. But everything was just so good I didn't care. Yeah, it was fun. It was a nice, fun game mode. Yeah, maybe it didn't have too much replayability, but not everything needs to have too much replayability. Game mode should be related to the events as well. I want to experience a demon-infested Wild West battle Mordekaiser in the Project universe. I know the game modes have low play rates, especially on second runs, and that's why they haven't returned. But hey, not every game mode has to return or stay up permanently. It looks like if it's not something where I can bring back 20 times, then it's not worth for them to greenlight, which is so sad. They have the money, they have the resources, and they can take the hit. That's one other thing I would like to add. And other companies also do it with no problem, so I don't see why it isn't possible. Shout out to Spirit Blossom, the 10th year anniversary and Arcane events. They tried something different for the most part and even revamped some aspects of old events, Nexus Blitz, Ultimate Spellbook, and so on. Was the only redeeming quality of the Ruination event, which tried to replicate the success of Spirit Blossom and failed miserably. Wow. Finally, exclusive content is okay, but it sucks when most of the content is locked either behind a paywall or a 30-day grind. I play LoL to have fun. It loses its purpose when it starts to feel like a full-time job, which it definitely feels like for me, even though I don't even get paid for it. It shouldn't be called an event if most of the players' base is not able to engage with it in a meaningful way. And the paid content shouldn't be the primary focus of the events. If the experience is amazing, the skins are going to sell like hotcakes with no problem. Yes, sir! A lot of people get business wrong. They should center it around the people and be fair and nice. Unfortunately, it looks like things aren't going to change anytime soon. The only update that will come out is soon the third part of the Mythic content overhaul, which we went over. So what's going to change? Nothing. They're just going to move everything to an event hub and things will be easier to find, visualize. And it'll be like a battle pass. TLDR of the TLDR by Riot. We believe that getting all the rewards in an event pass shouldn't require you to sign your life away for 30 days. Lies. Yeah, he missed some of the events. I'm kind of sad, but great post. Great post. Now let's look at this one. The event system of League of Legends and why players aren't happy. Instead of creating a comment under this post, which is the one we just saw, I'm assuming? Yeah, it's the one we just saw. I think it's really important to talk about what's happening and what's not. So, I want to talk more about how they could fix what the current event systems are. Yeah, it's all very easy for me to react and fucking, say what's good and what's bad, but we need to come up with solutions, and I'm going to see what this guy's are, and then react to that. So let's see. As for me, I want to talk about more how could they fix the stuff. I don't know all the details they're planning to do with Phase 3.0, but as everyone's assuming, it's not going to really solve the problem. But the popular assumption here is that it's just a fancy new tab for having the same thing. If that's the case, it's really disappointing, which is probably what it is. Excuse me. I'm making this post with the intention of people offering their own opinion and ideas, as well as expressing my own about the event system and everything regarding it. I'm actually curious to see, because Riot does listen. I'll give them that. They listen. I thought about changes the event system could get for a long time, but never really found a way to properly put it out there. Now, because of the link post, the conversation has been started. Thank goodness it has, and I think it's appropriate time to talk about it. So let's not get lost. I thought about making my own post. Kudos to you. I'm not hating on Riot Games, neither am I. I should mention that I absolutely love the game, as do I. I love the lore, as do I, and I love the content they bring us every 2 weeks. I wouldn't say that. Buff ADs. I just want the content to feel fair to obtain, and like Riot has already said, I don't want to sign away 30 days to get the fucking reward. That is so funny. That is so fucking funny. They know that's what we want. Now let's just hope they do something to actually make it happen. Ah, yes. Will Riot pull another fucking Riot Games epic gamer moment and say it and then hope everyone forgets about it? Who knows? I think this one they can't, though. This one's too big. They can't forget about it. It's going to be too fucking big. Let's see, though. I don't want to repeat what's already been said about the events feeling way too grindy because we all know it's true. I want to offer an idea of what could be fixed, but it doesn't impact the price. That's hard. The main reason event system feels too grindy is because of everything the event system has to offer at once. The main part of that being, you guessed it, the infamous prestige skins. Honestly, fuck the prestige skins. They got better. I would say at first, if this was like the first iteration of them, just completely remove them. They're ass. They're just golden chromas that suck. Now they're getting better with them. They're getting better to the point where like they're their actual own separate skins that are based off the main like line, and they're separate. They're not just a chroma, but they're not good enough. They actually need to make them better. I still don't think they're good enough. These fucking suck. These skins are supposed to be the all flashy, look at me, I'm special. Yeah, look at me, I paid money. Exclusive skins. They certainly are special. The way you look at them has improved a lot, and the way they keep them exclusive is to give them special loading screen borders, which I think is stupid. In my opinion, these skins, when you say exclusive, should really be exclusive. You shouldn't be able to get these from a fucking crate. You should get these from the event, and maybe an event-related shop with event-related tokens that you really have to grind for and you can't buy everything with, and you shouldn't be able to buy with money at all. Maybe, like, a little bit, but, like, you really shouldn't be able to... Well, actually, maybe you should just be able to buy it directly with money. Then you people would know you're just a whale, but that's fine. Just don't make it stupid. I feel like right now it's just stupid. But, and they're not even that good. But let's keep going. The way you keep them exclusive is to give them special loading screen borders. If they really want exclusive, don't let them buy it. Make them earn it. And I can if you buy in the event shop during the showcase event. The event shop prestiges specifically aren't grindy as we get almost enough free tokens to buy them. That being said, there's still a major problem when we decide whether or not we get them. And that's event borders and chromas. Those are ass. Those are fucking ass. Most of the fucking chromas are ass too. The borders, okay, maybe, but everything else is ass. Like, I used to be these types of players too. I used to be these players where it's like, I need to get the fucking border. I need it. It's going to make me look different and you can never get it again. I need it. Now I question who the hell gives a fuck. I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore because look how much I need to do to get it. And it's something you only see in the loading screen for like, what, a minute if someone has a really slow computer. It's not worth it anymore, honestly. Borders are a way for players to be recognized as the early buyers. Yeah, as the early suckers. The mains of the champion. See, I can understand that. If you main the champion and you want the border, fine. But, like, I don't know. To me, borders have become less and less worth it because they're so not exclusive anymore. And that's alright. If I play a champion, I really like to buy the border for that champion. Riot knows that. That's why they make it so your FOMO plays, fear of missing out, plays a major role when you decide that you want to buy in the event shop. On top of that, there's event chromas, which suck. I feel like that's an extra way for them to play on our FOMO. True, but they do come back. The event chromas do eventually come back. I've seen them come back, so that's not too bad. And again, they're chromas. It's a hard part arguing this part, though, because every person values stuff differently. I might think the borders and the chromas are ass, which I believe they are. But back in the day, past me would have said they're really important, and other people probably feel that too. So it's not a fair thing to say, but still. Let's keep going. However, there are players who don't have just one main. They like to play multiple champions, and they like to get borders for them. That itself won't be a problem if you didn't have to think about the prestige skin. In case you also like the champion, it's getting one. Border and chroma for a champion, you cost like 550 tokens. That's more than 1/4 of a prestige skin. If you really like the prestige skin and the shop... Oh, hold on. No, όχι τώρα. Τι? Ναι, όχι τώρα. Ναι, όχι τώρα. Alright, my family's annoying me, giving me carrots. Anyway, if you really like the prestige skin in the shop, you'll have to pray that you don't like anything else because you really can't earn anything else because the event pass sucks. So, let's keep going. Event pass overhaul. Borders were once already obtained for skins once you bought them on release, which was, I think, the best way you could have done it. So they could offer to do that in a similar way again. Event chromas could follow the similar formula, and together they could do the following. The skins cost 1350 RP and do not feature a border. Border plus icon bundles could be sold in the shop for 550 each, just like they do when they're not part of the event. If you buy an event pass, any skin you buy during the event automatically grants you its border and icon. I don't know about that one because you're going to get orbs from the event and you hope to get the skin anyway. I don't feel like you should buy the pass for the event and then buy the skins as well. I think that's a little overkill, but that's just me. Furthermore, the event track could feature chroma tokens that you could use to acquire an event chroma for an event skin you bought during the event. One for each skin. If you bought only a few event skins or none, you could simply trade the chroma tokens for additional event tokens. That's cool. Prestige skins remain 2,000, but the overall token gain could be reduced since you get all the borders and chromas that you want without spending any tokens. That's good. So you focus all your token gains on the prestige skin, or if you don't want it, the 2,200 tokens. That's fine. I don't feel like... I feel like there should be stretch goals where they basically take up like the majority of your earnings. But I guess that's just me. I don't know. I feel like if you play a lot, you should be able to afford a lot more. But most of the time, even for me, and I like to say I play a lot, I can really only afford like the big stretch goals of the prestige skin or the mythic essence, and then barely anything else. Barely. This would reduce the amount of grindiness in the past and allow you to get chromas and borders for the champions of the event you like, the only limitation being you're actually required to buy the skin, which makes sense, while also allowing you to get the prestige skin without worrying about borders and chromas. Game modes. I love that Ziggs picture, by the way. It looks so derpy. Looks so stupid. This is probably equally as frustrating as grindiness of the events. Every event features a game mode and community that has vastly overplayed to the point people don't even want it back. I remember when Earth was so rare, every time it came back I was so happy. Now the reaction is, oh, fuck Earth, fuck this shit. I'm sure players feel the same way, so I have an idea. Let players decide which game mode comes back. That's pretty good, actually. Give more power to the players. Then if they complain, hey, you guys wanted this. A few weeks before the event begins, they can make a vote pool. Earth, AR Earth, One for All, Nexus, Blitz, Ultimate Spellbook. I don't want those. I don't want only those, but let me keep reading. I'm not talking about bringing back stuff like Ascension. They have already stated why it won't be back, and I understand. No! But as we currently have very limited with the amount of game modes, yeah, which is like these 5. It will be at the very least... It would at the very least be fair we vote. I'm sure people wouldn't vote Earth, yeah, because we've been overplayed. But to be sure, it could be removed from the poll for 1 to 2 events so people can experience other things. Even the ARAM game modes like Legend of the King could be fun to see back. And by voting a game mode would guarantee the vast majority would actually like to play it. Then it calls into issue, though. There's an issue that comes up with this. What if... I feel like it could divide the community if the community isn't, like, wholly together on one thing. Let's just say something, like, is a close tie. You're going to have a big portion of the community that probably didn't want to play the game mode that won. Like, let's just say it's a 60-40 split between, like, One for All and Nexus Blitz, right? The people who win One for All are 60%. The people who win Nexus Blitz are 40%. What if those 40 just stop playing the event because, like, their game mode didn't come? It could lead to, like, a certain rift in the community, but I'm not sure. At least with Riot doing it, we have the big bad boogeyman who we can complain to and kind of just blame because we have no power and we could just blame them. But when you give it to the people's hands, some nasty stuff could end up happening. Anyway, let's see. Some events the big summon ones had in the past, like Ruination Spirit Blossom, could also at the very least feature an accented Summoner's Rift. I think they absolutely should. I think those events should not only hold a different Summoner's Rift, they should also have, at least once a year, a special little PvE game mode. They have to. Or a little silly PvP one, like the ones we mentioned before, like the Thresh one or the Project one. I think every year for the big yearly event, they should make that and accent the Rift. 100%. They should do that. Anyway. Since we probably aren't getting a PvE game mode because it takes tons of production time. It's a yearly thing, man. Just do it. That was done with Spirit Blossom for Nexus Blitz and was great, but if we can't get new map game modes, it would at least be fun to play Summoner's Rift for a whole of the universe. I feel like maybe this is another thing of Riot shoehorning themselves, or like backing themselves into a corner. They don't have to release it every year per se. Well, they could do a yearly event per se, but have every 2 years be like a new PvE game mode comes out. I think that could be more manageable. And like, just give us something, man. Like, make up an excuse, make up something, just give us new stuff. I hardly believe that League will keep going without, like, making a new game mode eventually. They're going to do it eventually, it's just they don't want to do it on a cycle because they're always going to need a lot of time more than we want to give them, I think. But it should be good. Like, if they take their time, eventually League is going to come out with a new game mode. The only thing I see happening, which might be, like, the little caveat to this, is instead of putting the new game mode in League, they might just make it its own game, which is what they've been doing, which is honestly fine. I'm fine with that too, but I like to see just PvE game modes in League again. So anyway, it will at least be fun to play Summoner's Rift in a whole other universe like Star Guardian, or maybe even just another region like Demacia. I greatly missed the winter-themed map, which they said, remember, they were going to put out map skins, because it was just so different from anything else like the arcane map accents. The whole different map that literally made you feel like the winter wonderland, even if there's no winter in your country, like the other guy was saying. This could be done once a year during the summer event since I imagine it's great effort to put, but the players would be overwhelmingly happy. But what does Riot want? Do they want players to be happy or do they want to make money? I'll give you a hint. It's the money. That's basically all I wanted to say. It's mostly important I want to start or rather continue the conversation, which is great. Overall, I kind of said my opinions throughout the whole thing, but just to kind of wrap it up, Riot became greedy. I don't expect things to get too much better because Riot is, big corporate now, but things could get better. I have faith in Riot. Like I said, I think every year or 2 years, they should come out with a PvE game mode. We need more innovation aside from Summoner's Rift. They can keep improving Summoner's Rift as they want, but that's for the start of every new season. And I'm going to be honest, the changes haven't been that extreme either. But yeah, I would say every 2 years, give us a new game mode at the very least. And then every year for the big event, or whenever the big event is, accent the map at least. And then just, innovate, make new shit. There you go. Even if it flops, even if it doesn't work, still do it. Because some people find it fun. And big companies that make a lot of money should be able to take the hit just to please their players if they're making above a certain amount of money. They could take the financial hit just to please us. And I think they should. But anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed.